we need to know what key you're playing in. There's a few benefits for that. One is when it comes to the solo, you need to know what key everything belongs in, and then you need to know the rules for where you can play perhaps a pentatonic scale. Another reason might be, let's say you get to band practice and you've either learnt a song or written a song, and the singer perhaps doesn't like the key that it's in. Or sometimes it doesn't even suit the guitar, the sound of the key that you're playing in. So you need to know what key everything's based in to be able to change the key. You can do it the long way around. You can say, well, everything's going to go down 2 frets or up 3 frets. But it's a much cleaner, simpler way, especially if you're working under pressure, to be able to just say, right, here's the system in this key. Let's just move everything to another key. So there's a few shortcuts for this. You need to know there's 2 ways of writing music, either diatonically or pentatonically. Diatonically means in the key of, so this is the more traditional way. And in a diatonic key, you have 3 major chords and you have 3 minor chords. So let's say, for example, you had a song and there was 3 major chords in your song. There might be other chords as well, but let's just focus on the 3 major chords we spotted across the whole thing. So let's have an example of A, D, and E. Now it's worth knowing the first note of the key, this is going to be A. Whenever you see 2 major chords together, we know they're going to be 4 and 5 in the key position. And if you look at your chart, you'll be able to see how the key is written out across the page. So if you look at 4 and 5 in the key of A, that's D and E. So even if we didn't know that, we know that 4 and 5 have to be D and E because they're alphabetically together, which by deduction, we've got A has to be number 1. So let's look at another example. Let's say we had F, C, and G. So we can instantly deduce that F and C, F and G belong together alphabetically. So F and G must be 4 and 5, which leaves C as the odd one out. That must be the key we're playing in. Sometimes you might have 3 minors. So you get 2 minors together alphabetically when they're on 2 and 3. So if we use the example of C again, if we had D minor and E minor written together, we must know that that has to be 2 and 3 in the key. So then we just work back. If E is 3, D is 2, C must be 1. Generally speaking, you're going to find that a song will usually have your 3 major chords, and then it's easy. But if you work through the examples I've written out, and you can look at the different song templates, and you can just have a bit of a quiz and just see if you can figure them out. And also, I'm going to lay out all the keys for you, so you can see all the chords in every key. When you found your key, if you refer back to the chart, after a while these will become habit and you'll know them, but refer back to the table and look at what minors are in that key. So, for example, if you look at the C line, you'll see there's a D minor, an E minor, and an A minor. Now the good news is, any of those can become a pentatonic. So whatever the chord is, or however the song is arranged, if it's in the key of C, you can play across the top a D, an E, or an A minor pentatonic, and they'll all fit. Some might sound cooler than others, but they'll all belong to that key. So that just about covers the diatonic way of writing things. And again, there's no substitute for experience, so just mess around with it. Pull the ideas apart, even record yourself playing different chord patterns, and then just play pentatonics across each one. The other way of writing is called pentatonic. So, again, it's quite simple, and it's usually easy to spot in a song. What you do is you take your pentatonic scale. So let's say we're going to take, for example, E pentatonic. We'd get E, G, A, B, and D. And what you do here is every note becomes a major chord. So for E, you just play E major, where there's a G, A, B, and D. Very favourable around the Motown era, and also a lot of kind of what you'd call classic rock, the Led Zeppelins, the Hendrixes. So let me show you an example. So what you would play over here as a soloist is you would just keep to the basic pentatonic scale. So whatever these chords do, you keep to an E pentatonic across the top. that's literally just going straight through it. E, G, A, B, D, and then back down again. And then the riff is just on E and A. You'll spot these. Let's say a song had more than four or five major chords in it. There's every chance that's going to be a pentatonic composition. So for example, take Hey Joe with Hendrix. You've got C, G, D, A and E. You would think that the key perhaps would be C because it starts in C or in E, when in fact it's written from A pentatonic. So that would be a scale you could play over it. You could also in that case play an E pentatonic. Again, have a look at the examples we've written of pentatonic compositions and you'll start to recognise a lot of the patterns and a lot of the shapes. If you're more into the rock, kind of retro way of playing things, this is probably where you're going to get most fun and most experimentation out, is the pentatonic. Diatonic's okay, but it tends to be reserved more for the typical rock and pop. If you want it a bit more edgy, head towards the pentatonic.